Hello and welcome back to Salted Cat. Today we are making assignment 7. Today's assignment is about making a door skin for a fuselage, for our airplane door. So this is the final product that we want to achieve. Before we start, we are making a new part. So click on new and select a part. We are naming this part like our project as always, 111. AE11107, so 77. Okay, before we start, we are inserting again an access system. We click on access system and click OK. We also can do it over insert and insert access system. There. Okay. Next step is we are going to shape and generative shape design, again like in the last assignment, and we are making a sketch on the YZ plane. So the sketch is made by a profile tool. So we are selecting the profile tool and we are making a straight line above the x-axis. And the endpoint of our straight line should be coincident with the y-axis. So, like this, so we have a constant sign. Click it, and then we are making 3 arcs. So one arc, second one, and the third one. That's all. So, now we have to make constraints. Double click constraint tool and make constraints for everything, for the arcs especially. And change the parameters for the first arc to 8000. So now it goes a little bit up. There we have it. And for the second one, it should be 1100. And for the last one, 3200. So 8000, 1100, and 3200. And for a straight line, we make a constraint for we also have already have constraints, so we change the parameter to 500 millimeters. And now we have to select our arc, the endpoint that we have here. This endpoint of our the endpoint of the second arc. So the radiance point. So here we have the second arc. It's very small. Here, this one, the second arc. And from the constraint we can go down to the point. Here we have a point. So we are making a constraint for the distance between the horizontal axis and the point. So we're selecting the point and also the horizontal axis and make a constraint. This should be 403 millimeters. Now we are doing the same for our straight line for the first point. So we're selecting the first point here. That's the first point, and the horizontal axis, make a constraint, and this should be 1515 millimeters. Now we have to do the same thing again for the last arc. So here's our last arc with 3200 millimeters. We're selecting a point, horizontal axis, and making a constraint. Make sure that your point is below the x-axis. It has to be below, otherwise we can't do this constraint. And this has to be 370 millimeters. As we see, it's all green, so let's check it's under constraint. We have 1 point left, which is not constrained. So in the reader, in the sketch, you just see all these parameters, nothing more. But for some reason, it's under constraint. So you just look what's not constrained. As we see, the only point is not constrained. You just can see it here in the list. 0.9 is not constrained. So we just click on the constraint tool, click on the point, and let's say we make a distance. No, I didn't select the point. Select the point, and we make a distance between the horizontal axis and the point. And now it should be ice constrained. It's ice constrained. That's wonderful. Always make it ice constraint, otherwise it doesn't work. So next step is making another profile. Before we continuing, we select this horizontal line that we have created. Select it. and then click on construction standard element. So we're making a construction element now. So just click it, and then it's a dotted line. Whoa, in my Catia it's now just a thin line, but it's dotted because there's constraint. You can do it here at the arc also. No, do it at the arc, but I just want to show you how it looks like. So this dotted line should be appeared there, but I have a constraint there. I can drag it. I can drag it. Beautiful. Now you can see it. It should be a dotted line, and the arc shouldn't be dotted like this. If you can't find this window, it's called Sketch Tools. Go on View Toolbars, and then you can find Sketch Tools here. If it's not in your Catia, you can always open all your toolbars over this command. Next step is making again with the profile tool straight line, which is constant with a vertical axis, and it should be also straight like horizontal, and make just one arc, which is pretty big like this. So now we are clicking again our constraint tool, and we're making this line also 500 millimeters. So it's same like the other one. And then we are making constraint for our arc. No, I selected profile tool. My bad. Making again a constraint for this, and this should be 3850 millimeters. And the distance between the first point of our straight line and our horizontal axis should be 1500 millimeters. Wrong. Yeah, like this. So in total it looks like this. Now we have here this open area. We want to make a continuous line, which is going down here in the corner. So we use the corner tool. It's on the right side. And we are selecting our first arc and the last arc of our first profile. And then we are making a corner. Let's do it like this. Now we have like two arcs. Unfortunately, it doesn't look that good in mine. So I just go back and making it again. So again, the corner tool. Select the first one, the last arc. Like this. Now we'll change the parameters again for the last point, for the first point of our straight line. The distance between x-axis and our first point to 1500. And now it looks better. Now we can see my first arc and the second arc. So the first arc has a radiance of, it's a radiance of 3850 here. And the second one that we have just created with the corner tool has to be 870. Like this. So now we finished it, and it's also ice constraint, so we can leave the sketch and extrude this. So now we have a curve here, and we want to extrude it. I just forgot it. Let's go back to sketch 1, and also making this horizontal line a construction line, a dotted line. Now we can leave a sketch. And we are extruding this. So the extrude feature is on the right side here. Extrude. Just click it and click on our profile that we have created, and make a dimension of 100 millimeters, and not 100, 1000 for both limits. So 1 meter to the one x side, and to the other side also 1 meter. So it looks like this. The next step is making again a sketch on a ZX plane. So we are clicking on ZX plane, sketch, and we are making a rectangle. Rectangle, place it just here somewhere, not in the middle, because there we have a lot of stuff and it's hard to work with this background. We are making constraints for all sides, so for these two sides. The height is 2000 millimeters and the width is 1000 millimeters. Now we have to place it on our object, and the distance from the lower line of our rectangle and the horizontal axis should be 1200 millimeters. So it's directly placed in the middle. And always remember we need sketches which are ice constrained, otherwise well, it's not a real sketch. This is under constraint. So we also make constraints for our two lines that are not green, like these two lines, and making them a little symmetry line of the vertical axis, like this. So now it's everything green and it's ice constrained. Let's leave the sketch. And now we are projecting our rectangle on our object. So we have this rectangle on the curved surface of our object. We are doing this with a projection tool. So we click on projection. It's here on the right side. And we're selecting as a projection projected our rectangle. And the support is our object. Let's change this along a direction. And direction should be positive y-axis. So we just right click on it and Y component. So click on preview and then we see our rectangle is just on our object. So let's do it again. We are clicking on projection, selecting along a direction. The projection should be our rectangle. The support should be our object and direction should be Y component. Then preview, we see that's alright and click OK. There we have it. Now we are making a split. So we are clicking on split. Where is it? There on the right side, more down. Clicking on split. And now we want to cut everything around the rectangle that we have projected out. So element to cut is our object, definitely. And cutting element is our rectangle. Preview, this is not right. Now we are cutting out our rectangle. So we just click on other side. Then we are cutting out everything around the rectangle. And click OK. Again, a little bit slower. So we are selecting split. Element to cut is our object. Cutting element is our square. Oh, sorry. Other way around. Square, close. Let's do it again. So, first the square, then the object. What the fuck? What's happening? Let's see. Element to cut should be our object. Cutting elements. This rectangle, not this one. Sorry for this failure, but I've selected this rectangle. This is the wrong one. We have to select our projection element, so the project. And other side, and click OK. Then we just have a rectangle. Let's hide this before I click it again. Okay, now we switch to our part design workbench, and we are making a thick surface because this is doesn't have any value of thickness. We want a thick wall, so we are clicking on thick surface on the right side here, and first offset is 100 millimeters. And we are clicking on our object. The arrows should be point towards the positive y-axis. So in this direction, you can see it here. It's going this way. And preview. Then it's very thick. We are changing this because our surface shouldn't be that thick. It would be pretty heavy, too heavy for an airplane door. So, but first we check it. It's okay. Now we are making edge fillets. Click on edge fillets and type in a value of 150 millimeters, and objects to fillet are our corners. So this corner, this, and this corner. Should be 4 corners in total, 4 elements. And preview, beautiful, looks good. Okay, as we see, yeah, we have created the corners, and we have still here this yellow split. We can hide it, so we don't see it anymore. Why we have done this thickness of 100 millimeters is because if it's 1 millimeter as we wanted, we can't select the corners properly. It's pretty hard to select them because it's very thin. So we are making it a bit thicker to select the corners, and then we are just changing our surface again. Double click on thick surface on the part body, and then we are just changing it to 1 millimeter per view. And there we have it. We have a 1 millimeter surface with the corners. If it's just 1 millimeter, we have to zoom so far in, and then we can select our corners. But this is just, not pretty fast and not, not good. So we are first making a very thick surface to select the corners, and then we are changing it to the real value that we want. So this is all. This is our final product. Now we can apply material. We are clicking on apply material, clicking on paintings, going down and selecting white, selecting again our part body or our project file, apply material, click OK, and there we have it. Let's hide this ugly lines and these lines. There we have it, our final object. This is our wall for our door. So thank you for your attention, and we'll see us again in assignment 8. If you have any questions open, just comment below in the comment box. Thank you.